Here we go. Here we go, brownies. The kids cardiac. Catch me in the Muni where the party at. Dog pound, turn up with the elf up on my starter cap. Brought him back. Boy, we from the land and we proud of that. Louder man, front to the back. Here we go, I got him shouting that. Here we go, brownies. Here we go. Here we go, brownies. Here we go, brownies. Here we go, brownies. Game on the line, Joe Thomas, I promise. Jim Brown running through opponents, how I got this. I return like Josh Cripps. Hand for the mini, got the dog pound jumping. Here we go, brownies. Here we go. Here we go, brownies. Here we go, brownies. Here we go, brownies. Let's go, Cleveland!
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Here We Go Brownies podcast. I'm Allie Ellery, coming to you live from Pensacola, Florida. Joined with me, as always, out in Cleveland, Ohio, we've got Dustin. Dustin, the Browns come away with a loss on the day against the Bengals. A competitive game. The Bengals come away 17-16 in Cleveland. We're going to get to all of it, but just give me your initial thoughts here.
Ooh, I got to see it up close. Kevin Stefanski, if you're watching the podcast. You bring in about 2 or 3 kickers at least and fix it, because this is a 2-year problem. You could have drafted one. You brought one in off the street. You got rid of one, but special teams, man, that was the difference in this football game. Special teams. You got to win in all phases. Allie, we always say it. Offense, defense, and special teams. We got 2 out of 3 right today. Yep. We didn't get special teams right.
Nope, you didn't. We'll start with some positives. This was a very competitive game. We saw what the Browns want to do offensively, getting back to the wide zone scheme. The offensive line overall was pretty decent, held up well. The interior was a little suspect at times. We'll get to that. Defensively, the Browns are who you think they are. Myles Garrett is Myles Garrett. Joe Flacco, I think he played pretty well today, given several drops. That really sucks. You shoot yourself in the foot so many times, you're not going to win this football game. Special teams comes down to it. That is primarily the reason that you did not win this football game or even have it tied late in the fourth. Something that I find interesting, this just, man, when I read this, stopped me dead in my tracks, Dustin. The Browns held the Bengals to 7 yards in the second half. 7 yards in the second half. It's the fewest yards in the second half by a winning team in the last 25 years. Cleveland outgained Cincinnati 327 to 141 yards and doubled up on first downs 22-11 in the 1-point loss.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it, but this defense, even with Martin Emerson out, could be an elite defense.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, I believe, led the league in offensive passes last year. Led the league. Could have won the MVP if he didn't have a losing season, right? To hold Joe Burrow to this type of game in the second half, I mean, we can say what we want. The defense was a little soft in finding their way in the first half, but, man, did they make adjustments at halftime? 7 points. You just said it, Alex. 7 freaking points. Schwartz did his job. He got the defense to adjust. It was
7 yards. 7 yards. They hit him to 7 yards in the entire second half. So that is startling.
Well, but it goes to show you the defensive side of the ball. I said I saw this in preseason this year. This could be a special defensive unit based on what they do against teams. You can see it. And they proved it against one of the better offenses, if not one of the best offenses in the National Football League today. They did it. They showed if you let the Cleveland Browns hang in a game, in any game this year, I don't care who the hell it is, we're going to be in it if the defense plays like it did today. If it plays like it did today and only give up that many points, we can be in games. But, man, the weird, funky balls through the hands of the receivers bouncing around that's just damn bad luck. I mean, I'm just going to put that to bad luck because those aren't on Flacco. And to your point, Al, you talked about the drop passes. You can't do that enough in a game to where that's going to eventually just hurt you. And then it came down to special teams. To your point, 1 point, the extra point, you're tied. I mean, you're tied unless you're going for something at the end of the game or overtime. But, man, that was tough to watch. And I just feel bad for the defense today because they laid it all on the line in that second half. They had the team fired up on that. When Miles was down there, I mean, that's where I set the seats. And it was deafening in there. I was like, this is what could be special with this team. But, man, the offense. Now, I'm just going to get into it as well. Dylan Sampson, if we get Judkins with this football team and Dylan Sampson's catching the ball out of the backfield, he was phenomenal today. Like that 1-2 punch, that there could be something here. Dylan had a hell of a day today. I don't think you could ask that guy to do any more today.
No, look, I actually want to get right into it. Just kind of the positives here, and Aaron even says it. Lots of positives, and I want to highlight that because this was a game that the national media didn't expect for this team to win. But the drops and special teams, that's where it really sucks. But taking a look really strictly here in this conversation at the positive outlooks, you got Dylan Sampson, man. That guy's a dude. Not only being able to be agile enough behind the line of scrimmage, making guys miss, and always seeming to fall forward, but also his pass catching ability. I was very impressed with Sampson. Yeah. Now, I know I just said that we're going to really highlight the positive here, but I also just want to say how he drastically outshined Jerome Ford. And once you get Quinch on this team and things are really flowing, I feel pretty good about the running game. I really do. I think that was an area of strength for this team. Also, Harold Fannin Jr., you got something there. He's tough, man. I mean, we all knew he was going to be, but I really liked what I saw out of him. A couple of drops, rookie mistakes here and there, but overall, he was kind of a safety net for Joe Flacco. Turning it over to the defensive side of the ball. Overall, I thought Greg Newsome on the outside was a highlight. We saw him mostly on the inside playing slot when Martin Emerson Jr. is available, but knowing that, going back to the outside like he did his rookie year, I thought that was pretty good. For the most part, you shut down Jamar Chase, and that's a win in itself in this game, and being able to limit the Bengals offensively. And looking at what the point total was in this game, if you look, I mean, you said this offline, Dustin, if you look at the box score only, you would say, hey, the Browns probably won this game. Well, unfortunately,
except for the turnovers, right? And usually if you turn the ball over, right. But I mean,
just what sucks. And it really sucks to say, we're getting on this podcast like we do every single week. And it just, for the past 3 or 4 years, we always say, wow, the Browns just find a new way to lose. But it's really remarkable that they do, and they're able to find new ways, especially in this one. I don't want to just kind of transition here to the negative, but kind of naturally, it's just what we do. But this really sucks for a lot of reasons. One, just for the morale. It was at home. You wanted to get this win. It's been a really difficult off season. So many things here and there, but also one, this is a divisional loss. That sucks. That hurts. But also this was a team that you weren't necessarily supposed to beat. And Dustin, we talked about this. If they can, within the first quarter of this season, steal a win, if they can get at least one win against a team that they're not supposed to, you're really going to be set up for success going down, maybe to the later stretch of this season, because here in the first quarter, you've got the Bengals, which we know that the outcome of that. Next week, Ravens, Packers, Lions. Brutal. So if you could have got one, now they still can. They still can. We know that. But this one was kind of gifted to you. And if you could have just taken it, that really sucks.
Well, I mean, I was watching some of the highlights of some other games today, and the missed, it goes to the hands of the wide receiver for the Browns. The same thing happened in the Steelers game where it bounced around and landed on Metcalf's chest. I mean, that's the luck or the bad luck, right? You look at games, but I mean, you bring up a really good point, Allie. You ask the Browns to find a way not to lose, or can you give me another way that they can lose this football game today? And I'm like, oh, wait, there it is. It's right there.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Jake says Browns are true innovators. And unfortunately, it's true.
Well, Allie, did you see it's the first time a team had that many only yards in the second half in a quarter century? Did you say a quarter century?
Just let me read this to you again. The Browns held the Bengals to net 7 yards in the second half. That's crazy. Onward. It's the fewest yards in the second half by a winning team in the last 25 years.
So the last time a team won that had that least amount of yards was 25 years ago. So basically the last time that happened, the Cleveland Browns expansion team wasn't playing football. Okay, I just put that into perspective.
Cleveland outgained Cincinnati 327 yards to 141 and doubled first downs 22-11 in the 1-point loss.
Well, double amount of or yards, and also probably time of possession was probably heavily in our favor, I'm assuming as well.
And absolutely, Aaron, want to highlight this. One beautiful nickname, Rocket Sanders. I love it. Rocket, sign me up for that. I want a jersey. That is so cool. But he was phenomenal today. I again, not to say that everybody else stepping up to kind of dog on Jerome Ford here. I'm not trying to do that, but there's some talent in this running back room. And what the Browns want to do offensively, wide zone running the ball, really bodes well for the talent that they have. It's very beneficial to have now coming into it, Quinshon Judkins, who down goal line situations, he would have knocked it in. I think it was like third down, Jerome Ford got stopped. I'm confident Quinshon would have done that because that's just what he does. Dylan Sampson's ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. He's very elusive. He's very shifty. He can make you miss, but he's very quick. And he's reliable. I really, really like that guy. But Rocket Sanders, man, I really liked what I saw out of him. He had that huge fourth down carry, as you mentioned there, Aaron, touchdown early. I really like him. And then we know who Jerome Ford is. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but we know that we've got at least at worst an average running back in the room with 3 other high-end or high potential players. I like it. I do.
Well, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. If we thought that we had running backs in the room that were going to be better than what we had last year, we wouldn't have asked Jerome Ford to take a reduced salary, and Nick Chubb would still be on the football team. So the Browns went out and got 2 dynamic backs. We knew it was a very deep back class. And look what they got. They got Dylan Sampson, and they got Judkins hopefully here very soon. Last time I checked, that was the good years.
That was the recipe. Yeah.
I mean, that was basically Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt catches the ball in the outfield. He's shifty. He makes people miss. And Nick Chubb just went down and did what Judkins would do. I mean, what we did in the draft is what we're trying to do now. And actually, it is Kevin Stefanski offense, and it actually works.
It does.
I don't know. We don't obviously know the situation with Judkins. He is signed now officially. I don't know if the league's going to do anything, but I don't think the Browns would have went all in to maybe sign him this week. I haven't heard anything, Allie.
We probably know more by Wednesday. I think he's meeting with the NFL. I read that it was today. I'm not 100% on that, so don't quote me. But we should probably know more by our show next Wednesday or this Wednesday.
Not a big show. Okay.
Yeah. One thing I do want to highlight here, another positive. I thought Kevin Stefanski play calling was very good today. I know that there's going to be people out there that are going to say, "Hey, Kevin always finds a way to lose." Overall, and we said this a lot last year, Dustin, comes down to execution. Jerry Jeudy dropped, Harold Fandon Jr. drops, a couple things here and there. This is a different ball game. And of course, the kicking situation. This is a different ball game. I think Kevin Stefanski did a very good job of doing what he wanted to do offensively, being able to really dominate the clock. That helped in so many ways. Keeping Joe Burrow on the sideline was huge in this ball game. And he just finds a way to scheme guys open. I felt confident even third and longs. I was like, we're going to convert this here.
Yeah.
And I thought Joe was very good. Joe Flacco, of course. I thought he was pretty good. It just, those drops suck. So real quick, before we transition here and do some game balls, quick shout out to our sponsor, Stadium Mustard, Lorello Vineyards. You heard at the top, our friends from Mr. Hero, City Barbecue, Lady Caroline, and Greater Cleveland Aquarium. Let's do some game balls. I want to this is a loss and it sucks, but there were a lot of really good takeaways. So I want to kind of just focus on that.
Sure.
Dustin, let's start with a defensive game ball. Who you giving it to?
Myles Garrett. I it was interesting to where I sat in the stadium. Like I was like, hey, we're going to win or lose it here on the fourth quarter because that's the way the ball was going, right, for the Browns if they were going to get another touchdown. And Myles Garrett just kept dialing it up on that drive or on that possession for. And man, he was just, and you could tell that Joe Burrow wanted no part of that. And he was like, okay, let's play for another day. So for me, Myles Garrett gets the game ball because he's a disruptor. No matter what he's on that side of the ball, he makes defenses coordinators up at he keeps defensive coordinators up at night. And for me, Myles Garrett, just the way he played today and rallied that front five to get them making just Joe Burrow just confused today and hurried a lot of the time.
Of course, Myles is who we know who he is. He was great today. I want to highlight Isaiah McGuire. He's getting my defensive game ball. Isaiah, there was a certain rep that he had that I thought was just pure domination. He won at the line of scrimmage. He got around his guy, he fell down a little bit, hit his knees, almost got to Joe, got up. Joe Burrow starts to peel out. He was able to catch him, dive after him, and still, I believe it was a TFL. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it was a small gain, but nonetheless, he still battled through that. Isaiah McGuire on the day, I thought he was very impressive. 6 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 sack, and 2 TFLs, and 2 quarterback hits. I really, really liked what I saw out of Isaiah McGuire. Also, I want to highlight Carson Swessinger here.
Oh, yes.
We know who we don't know who he is, but we
know. I was gonna say what this kid did today as a rookie, against one of the high-powered offenses in the NFL. Like, we all kind of felt like he was a real deal. He was the stud at camp, but man, when you get under the lights, it's a whole nother deal. And what he did to confuse maybe a future Hall of Fame quarterback said a lot about this rookie. And we said Andrew Berry's got to get this draft class right. So far, he's gotten this draft class right, which is good. I mean, the future. I mean, I know we lost today, but the Browns' future is bright based on some of the rookie players we have playing. And I saw that today. Yeah.
I agree. Very, very impressive out of Carson today. He was always just at the play. He's where he needed to be. Really impressed by him. Offensively, Dustin, where are you going to go with this?
I got to go with Dylan Sampson. I mean, this kid, I was sitting there going, hell, you probably could have got him to kick today and he probably would have made it. This kid was doing everything. Yeah, this kid was doing everything today. I was like, man, he's making the catch. He's getting that tough 1 or 2 yards when we're asking him for. I'm like, I don't think you can ask this guy to do anything. The only thing he could have done is take a kickoff return for a touchdown on special teams, and maybe we would have got those 4 points back. But, this kid was – I can't wait for Judkins to watch these two. This is going to be something special that I hope forms over the next several weeks once we get Judkins back.
Yeah, I think he's kind of the obvious answer here. Dylan Sampson. He had such a great day. I'd like to also just highlight Harold Fannin Jr. here. He had 7 he was targeted 9 times, dropped 2 of them. He had 7 receptions for 63 yards. Just like I said, he was a safety net for Joe Flacco. And then going through Joe Flacco's line, I thought, again, he played a very good game. Those 2 interceptions, I really don't put on him.
Right.
I'm of the belief as a professional receiver. Now, I'm not a professional receiver, so I can't make of the belief that if, you should probably catch a ball that hits you in the hands most of the time. So both interceptions came off of, drop, essentially, a recorded drop. But Joe on the day, 31 for 45, 290 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He was sacked twice. I mentioned at the start, I was a little bit disappointed in the interior of the offensive line. They were able to penetrate and really create internal pressure there for Joe. DeJuan Jones, however, I think in most cases today, he played fairly well. DeJuan Jones in the first half, he had 7 one-on-one pass rush matchups against Trey Hendrickson. No sacks, no quarterback pressures there in the first half. So really, really impressive there. Unfortunate that Jack Conklin went out with an eye injury, so hopefully he's okay. But Cornelius Lucas stepped in, was pretty impressed with what happened on the offensive line, on the outside anyways. A couple of other things here. Also, we want to give a shout out to our other sponsors, We Bleed Ohio, Lake Erie Distillery, Mr. Hero, Primetime Sports, Crystal John Tony, the real estate agent there in Cleveland, and Southern Tier Brewery. Southern Tier Brewery, that'd be a great thing to check out right now. I'm not drinking it, but I am drinking another one.
We know you can pick up some of that Southern Tier Brewing in Florida. We have confirmed you can go find some of that.
I was looking for it yesterday. I wasn't at the store where they sell it. I was actually at a restaurant in town, and they had just a slew of beers. So I checked. Unfortunately, they did not, but I was going to get some. But yeah. Dustin, other takeaways here before we wrap up. Just, again, this sucks. It sucks. You wanted to come away with this one.
here's the thing. If this was a 14-point game and Joe Burrow lit it up, I could be like, man, Joe Burrow was Joe Burrow today. But when you know what really pisses me off, Allie, is when you beat yourself in life or in football or whatever you do. When you beat yourself, it hurts more. Damn it, it just hurts more. Like okay, like your defense did what they were supposed to do. Your offense was complimentary today. A couple weird pass deflections that just bounced the wrong way. But man, your special teams, that's so important. That's why it's the three phases of the game. And you're sitting there going, and I'm sitting with the guy at the game today, and I'm like, that extra point, we come back to haunt us. And you're having those thoughts, and you're like, okay, well, hey, he's going to redeem himself. It's a 39-yard field goal. It's a good one. Nope, not so fast. And I'm like, okay, there it is. Like I'm like literally seeing my nightmare unfold in front of me because I'm like, well, there's the 4. Now we got to score. I honestly feel that if Stefanski got in the red zone and scored, I think he was going for 2 points the rest of the game. I even said that like to whatever it was going to be because I don't think he had any faith in this kicker at that point.
Well, no. And it's just a damn shame that every single year that we do this. I mean, I've been saying this since I started this show nearly 7 years ago, that the Browns have an inability to identify kicking talent. We know that. We've seen it. As well as receivers. Now, I'm not saying our receivers are bad. That's not it. But drafting, developing receivers has been an issue under Andrew Berry. And I just don't understand how in the past 7 years, consistently dropping the ball at crucial times has just been the storyline for this Browns team. And so many times, I mean, several seasons in a row where we say, hey, the Browns are right here. You know, we know that this is a game of inches. They're right here. If they can just do one or two things differently, this is a totally different outcome. And maybe that's a wild card spot. Maybe, you know, in the future, that's a divisional spot. It's being able to know how to win. And, you know, the Browns they're not necessarily a young team anymore like they were 2 years ago when we were having these conversations. Like, wow, this is such a young team. They just have to figure this out. You know, this is a pretty veteran team. There's a lot of vets on this team offensively and defensively and special teams to be able to put this together. So that's really what's disappointing. And I see Aaron's comment here. He would rather get blown out in a game than lose like they did today, just because I get it. You're right. If you're saying, hey, Joe Burrow and this Bengals offense just did what they were going to do, you'd say, well, what can you do? This is a future Hall of Fame quarterback and probably 2 Hall of Fame receivers. What are you going to do? I understand. But that wasn't the case here. And let's go through that. Let's go through what the Bengals did offensively. Joe Burrow, they kept him 14 of 23 for only 113 yards, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 3 times on the day. He had a quarterback rating of 87.8. Chase Brown rushing. Now, I told you, he's a dude. Chase Brown, he's tough. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball. He can do a lot of things. 21 carries for 43 yards. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot because eventually the Browns were able to really absorb the run. Receiving, T. Higgins was the leading receiver, 3 for 33. Jamar Chase, he only had 2 catches for 26 yards.
Nothing for Jamar Chase. That's nothing.
No. So when you look at this, you're like, wow, okay, box score. Yeah, Browns really should have. This shouldn't have even been a question on who wins this game, but we obviously know the outcome.
Yeah, I was just going to get back to a funny thing. Maybe Andrew Berry watches the show, Allie, because if you notice, he goes out and gets folks like Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy because he knows he can't draft good, talented. So it's like he's really good at getting trades and getting good guys in here, but developing. Now, I will say this. We didn't talk about, but you know who I was impressed with today, poised in this game, was Cedric Tillman. I think he's going to be a guy. What's that?
Except for the end.
Right. But I'm saying, I feel like if that connection with Joe Flacco and him can rekindle some stuff there, I think, I don't know. I just felt good. I mean, at times he looks like, but drop passes are going to be an issue. I mean, that's the other thing. Drop passes in this game. I felt bad for Joe because I felt like Joe, at least, when he threw the ball, he gave his wide receiver an opportunity. Because here's the one thing I was worried about today. I was thinking Joe may throw picks errantly and make a mistake, like trying to gun it. I mean, if you notice, he took a sack, he threw it away. Like, that was a different Joe Flacco than we saw coming off the couch. Like, he's had a whole offseason, and you can – I don't know if you saw that, but I was like, oh, Joe's not doing the old Joe stuff. He didn't do that today. And those weird bounces, he's pissed off because he knows that's not his fault, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's – but I didn't see the old Joe 3 touchdowns, 300 – that wasn't Joe out. That wasn't the Joe that we saw in 2023. We saw the one that was patient. If it wasn't there, he unfortunately took a sack or he threw it away.
Well, and I think that is a testament also to Kevin Stefanski's play calling today. Like I said at the start, I think it was very good. Being able to scheme guys open. There were, I don't want to say easy passes, but several reads where there was maybe a guy or two. So I was pretty impressed with that. And Joe's ability to obviously go through his progressions and make those decisions. He's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. But I agree with you. We have seen at times where maybe it's forced because the scheme wasn't there or the execution wasn't one way or another. But overall, I was happy with that. So let's just quickly go through the Browns stat line. Joe Flacco, 31 of 45 for 290, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Dylan Sampson was the leading rusher on the day, 12 carries for 29. Jerome Ford had 6 carries for 8 yards. That sucks. Joe Flacco carried the ball 2 times for 6 yards. How about that?
By the way, I was like, look at Joe go over there and run to the sidelines to get those yards. I'm like, see, like that's the one thing I feel, and I've said this, Joe's 40 years old, but if the offensive line stays upright, he can be any, the reason Tom Brady and some of these guys made it further, into their years is because they had good offensive lines that kept them up and healthy. And like I said, even when Joe took a sack today, it wasn't like it was a detrimental, terrible sack. It was like they just got to him and he fell and got right back up. So, we have a real tough test, and we'll get into this on the show on Wednesday. It doesn't get any easier. We got to go into Baltimore for the 30th anniversary of their team, which is kind of weird. But what's even crazier, it's Joe Flacco going in there. And of that 30th anniversary team, he's the last one that's won them a Super Bowl. So, so it's kind of, but you also had Aaron Rodgers going into the Jets today. It was kind of a weird game, around the NFL, but this one, we might look back at this game, Allie, later in the season and be, if we're 8-9 or, like we're fighting for, we're going to look back at this one and go, that might've been the one that got away. They got us over the hump because it's a division game, as you said, right? Those count for 2. And this may be the game we look back and go, that might've been the difference between fighting for a wild card spot or, doing nothing on week 17. I don't know. It was weird.
You're not wrong. Just a couple other things here. Jerry Jeudy was the leading receiver, 5 receptions for 66 yards. Dylan Sampson, 8 receptions for 64. Harold Fannin Jr., 7 for 63. Cedric Tillman, 5 for 52. David Njoku, 3 for 37. Basically, long story short, catch the ball, kick the ball, different story. So, Dustin, any closing thoughts before we wrap up here?
Yeah, everybody, go relax. This was a very exhausting game to watch. Keep the faith because our defense played better than I thought they would even play today. I thought they were going to be good, but Joe Burrow is a really good quarterback, and he was having he was having a tough go at it today. So, we'll get into the big show. We'll look at injuries, Conklin and some of those other ones on Wednesday, but you guys, just go enjoy something else other than football the rest of the day.
There you go. We have it. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We appreciate you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, Browns fans, go Browns.